Welcome to Raw Radio.
Take it away.
Now, since you pressed the button, I feel like you should say.
And we're live.
No.
Should I come up with my own thing?
Yeah, you can't steal stuff from me.
I was going to steal it. It's not stealing.
It's
It's appropriating.
It's embracing. And embracing.
Yeah. Here we go again.
Here you go again.
Here we
There
go
you
again.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
So here we go again.
And we are live.
What are we doing today? What are we talking about, sir?
What a fun conversation with Betty.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a trip. I love it.
If you don't know Betty's story, and who doesn't by now, if you're in our world, Betty.
If you on social media,
Yeah.
you know who Betty is.
Betty just got her black belt at Worlds on the podium after winning a gold medal, and Betty is
At age of 65.
65 years old. So there's hope for
You.
a lot of us, some of us, some of them. I don't know. And she spent 4 years of blue belt, so we have that in common too.
There you go. Common things.
Yeah, but I think what we talked about a lot with Betty was that because she didn't start until she was 54.
54, yeah.
And she had no problems telling people. She was able to put her ego aside and say, hey, this is me. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. And I need you to respect that. But she also talked about how she needed to modify and use the tools that she had for herself in order to keep progressing. She mentioned many times about her hips. So there was a lot of things that she can't do, and she had to figure out a way to make things work for her. And she did that. She used the tools that she had to achieve what she wanted to.
Yeah. Important part of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even I think if you remove the age factor, we all have tools. We all have things that we use to accomplish our goals. And I'm not even talking about physical tools. I'm not even talking about, hand strength, all that. But I'm even talking about the mentals tools we have. We learn different ways. We comprehend things different way. We process things different way. We are all individual people. And I think that's what really makes jiu-jitsu beautiful, that interpretation of jiu-jitsu could be very different between different people. But understanding how you learned and understanding how you can execute things effectively and efficiently, really that's what changes changes your outcome, essentially, your success, or the route to the success, and you often hear about statements being made, try to replicate somebody who's similar to you versus learning from, so-and-so, right? That's really big, important, really, really important. I'm stumbling today. That's right. Really important. That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's still foreign.
Yeah. Use the tools you have to get through this conversation, whatever they are.
Then I should remain silent. Why is a foreign guy doing podcasts?
That question has been posed. They should ask a black belt.
And yet not answered.
Yeah.
But we all have different tools, right? Physical, mental. We have attributes that really could benefit us, and we have things that we don't do well or that don't work for us. And really identifying these things is really important to our success.
Yeah, I think so. And like you said, everybody learns differently. I think processes things differently too, and teaches differently or explains things differently. I notice oftentimes you and I will be arguing about the exact same thing.
We don't argue.
Yeah,
you say things and
right. So I'm talking on the mat. You'll show me something and you'll explain it verbally as well as physically. But the way I would do that is a lot of times in reverse. I work through it backwards maybe. And that's just the way I do things. And you'll look at me like I'm crazy when I explain it to you. But then after it sinks in for a couple seconds, you're like, oh yeah, he is actually saying kind of the same thing I am, just in a different way.
Hold on. Did you just say that I agree with you that you are right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did this turn against me?
It happens. It happens. Margaret from time to time says I'm right too. It's hard to get you guys to admit it. But
I need to get Margaret on the show.
You should. She'll never do it. But just the other day, she was saying how she can admit she's wrong, very much like you. And I said, yeah, you can admit when you're wrong, but you can never admit when I'm right. And that's the key, right? You have to admit when the other person is correct. I like Margaret more and more. But so, yeah, I mean, physical, mental, all those things that you have, you can even go into like financial. If you can only afford a program X at your academy that only allows you to go twice a week, that's the tool that you have. That's all you can afford at this moment, or what have you. So I think it's recognizing them and then making the best out of them.
Yeah, and but is it fair that some people have different attributes and other people don't, and some people have other abilities and other tools at their disposal?
Life's not fair, but I mean, and at the same time, you can't say. That doesn't mean that because life isn't fair, people have the right to take things away from you. It just means that this is the card you've been dealt, and you've got to play with these cards. Mm-hmm. If somebody starts detracting from you, that's a different story. So yeah, life is hard. Life isn't fair. Betty's mental state played a lot. I think that's probably her greatest tool. Mm-hmm. She's a highly educated person, and I think that plays a lot into it as well.
How do you understand which tools do you have? How one can determine what is going to bring me more benefits than not?
Probably trying to correct your mistakes, I would think, maybe. Which ways work for you, which ways don't. Putting your ego aside and thinking, you're 47, 48 years old. You're not going to have the tools that you had, right? Your tools change over time. You're not going to have the same tools that you had when you were, 47, that when you were 27. Just things are different now. So you have to accept that. You have to be accepting of what you have and what you don't have. And then probably utilizing those to the best of your ability. Asking for help, asking for advice. Talking to people who have gone through similar circumstances to figure out what attributes that you have now that are going to be beneficial for you.
What's one of the biggest changes that you've seen as far as your tools are concerned in jiu-jitsu?
Probably recovery. I'm no physical specimen. I've never been in the greatest shape, but I've also, as I was younger, I was able to recover quicker. And this is pre-jiu-jitsu. I did Kung Fu, I did Taekwondo and Hapkido, and then just all other activities that I would do. I would be able to recover really quickly. So it was like, and I almost could use it as an excuse. It's like, I don't have to be in the best shape because I'll be fine. But now at my age, it's like, no, recovery's hard. It takes its toll. I get up out of a chair and it hurts. And getting up out of a chair hurts. That didn't happen 20 years ago. It didn't happen 10 years ago. So I've been going on here for a second. I don't remember exactly what you were asking, but the recovery part of my life is probably the biggest thing that has changed out of the tool set that I have for jiu-jitsu.
Mm. And what adjustments have you made to compensate for that change?
Training smarter. You're going to ask me what that means. I think it means,
I wasn't about to ask.
No. Okay. You were liar. But who I'm training with, when I'm training, when I'm going hard or not, taking time off, you have to figure all that stuff out, your schedule and stuff, to make sure that you can, keep going, right? Longevity.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the important part. Listen, I think as jiu-jitsu, as you're starting or continue going through your jiu-jitsu journey, wherever you are in it, you're going to see changes happening. One, that moving target of jiu-jitsu continue evolving. That's one component of all of this. But the second one is our bodies change. We age. There is a wear and tear. We get smarter as far as jiu-jitsu. We gain more knowledge, right? So there's a lot of moving parts in all of this. And as we continue progressing, it's important to identify the tools that we have. You know, how are you responding physically? You know, are you warming up? That's a big one. Are you cooling down?
Yeah.
Are you stretching? Are you know, hey, listen, I just got these 2 burgers right before the training. I mean, hey, I heard that before. Laugh as much as you want. But I you know, like, you know, all this has an impact, you know, and you can determine whether that's good or bad for you. But the point is, everything we do has a consequence behind it, and it's going to have an impact on your performance. And nobody says that we are all athletes, and nobody says that we should be acting like we are, but identifying the tools that we have is really, really important. You know, maybe speeding things up and pushing yourself is something that you want to do. Maybe slowing down and focusing on a more technical approach is something you want to do. You know, maybe spending more time on education, meaning videos or seminars or private lessons, things of that nature, is something that you want to take on. Or maybe, you know, maybe being part of larger time on the mat from a sparring perspective is something that you needed. The point is that identifying these points is really going to bring you to the success. It's going to bring you smoother and faster to the success point that you are seeking. You know, and how we identify this, I think talking to your instructors. I mean, that's a big one. You know, that's why they are there. They're supposed to help you.
Yeah.
Developing some of these plans with your instructor. How do I get there? What is your goal? You know, and what mechanics we can use to get to that goal. You know, with some milestones and some trackable systems. You know, to really bring you up to the success that you can be really satisfied with. I mean, that's the important part.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that doesn't mean abandon the things you're not good at. You still have to work on those, but I think it's like supplementing the tools you don't have anymore. If we're going to stay on this, like this progression and we're older, supplement those tools that you don't have anymore with something else.
Well, I'm not talking about, I don't know something and I shouldn't use it. What I'm talking about is, how do I learn more with what I have? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're in your 60s, you know, maybe you cannot go 6 10-minute rounds. Okay, so you need to find a different way, of substituting that so you continue progressing.
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Maybe your schedule is so demanding with your career that you cannot be at the academy more than 3 times a week, and that's fine. But find a way to maximize the tool that you have. So you have 3 times a week. Maximize that to the max. Cap it. Right. And use that to the best ability you have. Right. Maybe you know, I don't know what would be other examples, but maybe you're looking to lose weight. That's a very common one, right? So figure out how you can use jiu-jitsu to lose weight, to be where you want to be.
Right.
You know?
And vice versa. I mean, if you want to be better at jiu-jitsu and you have a weight issue, well, figure out your diet, you know, or figure out how you eat.
That's a good point.
In order to help you progress on the mat, you know?
Essentially, I think what we're both trying to say is, don't be hopeful and without any plan.
Right.
Really be strategic about it.
Yeah.
Put some logic behind what is happening around you. Don't just show up and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Put some strategy behind it and really make it useful.
And I think people often say, you know, just keep showing up. There's like that cliche, how do I get good? Or what, you know, how do I get my black belt? Show up. Well, yeah, you do show up, but you also have to have a plan for every time you show up. And if you can only show up twice a week, or you can show up 6 times a week, that's great, but have a plan for both, because some people who do come every day don't progress, you know? So when you do show up on those days, make sure you know what your goals are, what your intentions are, and stick to it.
You bring a good point. I mean, I've seen people who train literally every single day and their progression is slower than people who train twice a week. And it's not because they don't show up. It's because they're strategically maximizing their time and they're putting a lot of effort into this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It could be anything. They could be socializing when they're here, or they could be spreading themselves too thin. They're jumping all over that jiu-jitsu.
Oh, and burning out. We didn't even talk about that.
Or burning out.
Burnout is a very common, right? It's you just spend too much time on the mat and you just don't want to be there anymore. And that's that's the last thing that you want it to happen. So be smart about it. That's the bottom line. Be really smart about your training. You can really benefit from it, and life can be really wonderful with jiu-jitsu. So
what's the number one tool people should work on, though? The number one. It's got to be the mindset, right?
That's a tough one. Hold on, let me think about it. The number one tool that people should work on or evaluate, I think, man, I have few. This is hard.
Pick one.
I think for me it would be setting goals, and it's the hardest one, I think. It's because the jiu-jitsu is so difficult to measure. Without goal, we get discouraged. Without goal, we don't see progress. Without goal, we feel that we're hitting plateaus. Without goal, we think that other people passing us, and like all that kind of focuses all around that. And it kind of bleeds into what you were saying, that mental stimulation. But if you can set some kind of tracking with your jiu-jitsu, whether it's amount of time you're on the mat, amount of time you come to the academy, amount of time you pass the guard, or amount of time you sweep somebody, whatever it is, if you create some kind of trackability with your training, it makes it much easier to continue showing up, continue moving forward, continue grinding, continue just be there. Whatever the obstacles are, just show up, just be there.
Be there. All right. Before we go, you've got something very, very exciting going on. Very exciting. You got something that's exciting, and then something that's very exciting.
All right.
At least like
you're more excited about this than I am. So why don't you tell me?
Which one? Let's start with the exciting one.
What are you talking about?
Ask a black belt.
Oh, ask a black belt. Yeah. Drop me some questions. It's a good one. This thing is growing faster than I anticipated. I thought nobody's going to listen to this. It's on all podcast platforms. It's another podcast separate from this. But go download, subscribe, whatever button there is, press it. Comment questions as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned. You release at this point 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Cool. New episode comes up. There's tons of them pre-recorded already, and I continue recording them. So they're gonna keep popping up. There's a lot of it in the past, a lot of it in the future. Continues going. And
the questions,
if you want to ask me
through Instagram,
just ask me. Drop me a DM on Instagram, Roginski BJJ, and if there are any, I will answer them, and hopefully it can help you or whoever is listening.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I got a direct pipeline for my questions.
Yeah.
I don't have
pipeline. Direct pipeline.
And then now the very, very exciting thing.
Oh, BJJ Fanatics. It was such a unique experience, I think. A few weeks back, I had the opportunity to work with BJJ Fanatics guys. We recorded a sit-up guard, Gravity is Your Friend, about 2 hours plus of material for, sweeping from a sit-up guard position. If that's your jam, take a look at it. Go get you some jiu-jitsu. And I got this cool mug here. They hooked me up. My coffee is in the
He's got a BJJ Fanatics Yeti mug. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyway, go check it out. I mean, that's all I ask. There's tons of different DVDs or instructionals, not only mine, at this point, hundreds probably. So go check it out. If you like to dip into spider guard, if you like to dip into sit-up guard, I do believe it is 1 or 2 sit-up guard instructionals there.
Yeah.
So it's really not much on that material. So, go get you some.
Yep. Check it out. We done?
You are in charge of the button.
All right, then I guess we're done. Peace.
Later. Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.